What's up, guys? Dirk here from Intelligent Cryptocurrency. Today, I'm here in this beautiful pool villa over here. So you can see, got the private jacuzzi, got the private pool, the sea and the beach is just right down there. So it's literally like a 20-meter walk. And while I'm here, I just wanted to make this video since the year is coming to an end. You know, it's December 11th. We have literally like 20 days left, like 3 weeks of the year. Then this year is over. This crazy year that was 2020. I mean, think about, like, you know, 1 year ago, December 2019, the world was fine. We could travel. Everything was cool. And then, you know, a few weeks later, we get hit with this craziness and the whole world is shut down and boom, you know what happened this year. Imagine that, right? So who knows what's in store for us in 2021? Personally, I hope things are going to get back to more normal, but you know, the way things are going, I'm not too sure things will ever get back to how they were, you know, say a year ago. But, you know, fingers crossed, gotta stay optimistic. And since this year is coming to an end, I want to talk about what I think is going to happen, you know, 2021 for crypto and Bitcoin specifically, what my strategy is. And I just want to share some thoughts with you. So it's going to be much more of a, you know, just chilled video of me talking. I'll overlay some stuff and graphs and charts and things as I'm talking later on in this video, but you know, let's get into it. So another really cool thing is, you know, this institutional FOMO, it's here. Everything that was talked about in 2017, you know, like Wall Street is coming, institutional FOMO is coming. It took a few years, but it is here, you know, and Microstrategy led the way. They first bought, something like 200 million, then they're up to 425 million. Then they bought another $50 million worth of Bitcoin, over 19,000. So they're at $475 million. Then they announced they're going to be selling convertible notes to raise more money. They're looking to raise $400 or $500 million, which they also want to put into Bitcoin. So at this point, it's just getting purely ridiculous. Like, they are literally wanting to put, like a cumulative total of over $1 billion of cash to buy Bitcoin. That is insane. Like, just imagine 3 years ago in 2017 saying, hey, there's going to be some publicly listed company that's literally going to put $1 billion of their own money into Bitcoin. Like, that would be the dream back then, and that would have probably sent it like to the moon, right? But that is what is actually happening right now. And not just MicroStrategy, we're starting to see they led the way. But even just yesterday, it was announced that Mass Mutual, an insurance fund, put $100 million into Bitcoin. We have, you know, billionaires, Paul Tudor Jones talking about it. We have the CEO of BlackRock talking about Bitcoin as an investment. Like, funds are getting started with it. The infrastructure is here, right? You've seen me make so many videos of this. I don't want to repeat myself over and over again, but it's just the good news keeps on coming. It's not just a temporary thing. They're snatching up this Bitcoin. Grayscale is buying up hundreds of millions of dollars worth of Bitcoin for their clients. Like, it is here. This is happening. Keep in mind, Bitcoin has 21 million Bitcoin that there will ever be. And in combination with the crazy amount of, you know, money that's being printed, fiat currencies and stimulus this year, more than in the entire past 2 centuries alone, right? That's absolutely insane. So the fiat devaluation from all the currency printing in combination with the scarcity of Bitcoin, in combination with the actual infrastructure being here, being able to handle this type of institutional money now, right? 2017, we weren't ready. Okay, the institutions could barely handle the retail signups. You know, exchanges were basically just shutting out. You couldn't sign up, you couldn't get verified, all that kind of stuff. So the capacity is massively increased. The compliance is no longer an issue because they actually have, you know, money transmitter licenses. We have Coinbase, we have Gemini, we have Kraken, right? And that's continuing to increase. They're actually companies and exchanges filing to become, I forgot the proper term, but to become, you know, regulated, even more like money transmitters and to be completely compliant in the sense of for stable coins and all this kind of stuff. So it is happening. It's continuing to progress. And even just for retail money to come in now, the capacity is there, right? We can handle a multitude of the size of 2017, and we are still not back at the same market cap level as 2017, which means there is enormous room to grow. And once the retail mania fully kicks in, right, I think we're going to see some crazy fireworks. Hopefully that's going to be next year. We'll get to that in a second, kind of the cycles and how we're on track for that. But if that continues, which I don't see it stopping, I don't see it slowing down. I think it's just a matter of time at this point, right? This has started, the FOMO is here, the race has begun to acquire Bitcoin, and now we're in the institutional stages, and a lot of retail investors are still not really paying attention. Bitcoin is still not at that 20K level. It hasn't broken through yet. So, the sentiment is still with a lot of retail investors. Oh, it barely touched 20K. Now it dropped down. It's like 18, 17 and a half, whatever it is. And people are still not fully believing it. I think, and a lot of people have said this too, once we see Bitcoin breaking above $20,000, and once we see Ethereum going back above $1,000, and especially the altcoins and a lot of the 2017 altcoins are still way, way down, right? Once we start seeing those get back up to 50, 40, 30% from their all-time highs, right? Once those really start pumping, I think we're going to start to see a crazy retail FOMO. It's the same as always, right? The cycles behave in the same way. Market psychology doesn't change no matter what happens in the world, right? Humans still behave in the same way. They're still mostly herd creatures, right? So they wait for the masses to get started, and only then do they jump on, right? There's very few people who are willing to take the risk and get involved when the sentiment is low or when smart money is there, and, be willing to stick their neck out and put their money on the line. But that's exactly what you're supposed to do if you want to be able to get the biggest gains, right? Because if you wait till everyone gets involved, that is towards the peak and the euphoria section of the bull run once again. And sure, that's when it's pumping and you can get quick gains, but at the same time, that's near the top. And if you don't exit or you buy in right at the top, you stand the risk to ride it all the way down. And that's how the markets continuously take money from the impatient and the dumb money, so to speak, and give it to the smart money and the patient, the people who are willing to get in when nobody does, who's willing to sit in there for 3, 4, 5 years, just hang on, accumulate, build their positions, and then exit once the dumb money starts coming in, right? It's always an exchange. So when it comes to any market, right, it's a zero-sum game. For every buyer, there has to be a seller. So for the smart money and the hodlers who want to exit, there needs to be people who are going to buy at those high levels. So, if you've been following the channel and you've been building your position throughout the bear market and you're still holding on, you're going to need someone who's going to come in at much higher levels and who's going to buy the top so that you can sell your coins that you bought cheap, sell them high, and, someone's going to end up buying that. And if that person, buys high and doesn't end up selling and rides it all the way down, well, obviously that's unfortunate for them. Hopefully, they'll find this channel so that they don't end up being the dumb money and they'll end up being the smart money and make money from it. So let's head over into what I think is, 2021. So halving cycle, super important. I think that's still very much on track. So all of this stuff, if you've followed me in previous videos, I've been talking about this. So the halving cycle every 4 years in Bitcoin halves, but the crypto market cycle seems to be based on that, at least the 2 previous cycles. We don't have a huge amount of data to go with. So, we've only had 2 cycles and the first cycle was kind of small. So take that for a grain of salt. It's not statistically significant, but it seems like because the market is still small, we are getting a repeat of that. And we're looking at probably about 18 months after the halving. That's what happened last time. All right. So the halving in 2016, it peaked 18 months afterwards. So if we're looking at the halving that happened in May 2020, if we're looking at 18 months afterwards, we're looking at anywhere between, say, September and December of 2021 for a peak. Now, I also know, and I keep stressing this, is that markets never repeat in the exact same way, and they never really do what the majority of people expect them to do. So if everyone's expecting a perfect repeat of that halving cycle and we're expecting a perfect peak, towards the end of 2021, well, there might be a decent chance that it's not going to do that. So it's either going to peak sooner and it's going to peak sometime in May or June, before everyone thinks it, and they think they still have 6 months to go, but that was actually the peak, and after that it goes down, right? Or maybe it could end up taking longer and it might actually end up peaking, sometime in 2022 or 2023. Now, there's also a lot of people who kind of share their insights about the cycle length of Bitcoin, and they say they don't believe in lengthening cycles because of that built-in 4-year cycle in the Bitcoin code with the halving, right? They're basically saying, well, it can't become an extended cycle length. It can't be a 5 or a 6 year cycle. It has to remain a 4-year cycle. But of course, nobody knows the future. If they did, it would be really, really easy to get incredibly wealthy. So, those are the three options. We're going to get an earlier peak. We're going to get exactly the same, which would be weird. I wouldn't think about that would have a high likelihood, but we could also get a later peak. Now, definitely based on how slow things tend to move with institutions and that kind of thing, we've seen it took 3 years since we started talking about it in 2017. It's only starting to happen now. So in the long run, I think cryptocurrencies, digital assets, Bitcoin, over the next several years will continue to grow as an asset. But we could continue to have booms and busts, within the next decade, where we get insane spikes up and then busts of 50, 60, 70, 80%, mini bear market, continuation of the booms, and so on and so forth. So in my opinion, it's completely plausible that we could also get an earlier peak than most people are expecting sometime, in Q1, maybe even Q2 of next year. So my strategy is to be completely flexible, be completely open to whatever happens. I'm not married to any specific time or date or token, right? My goal with cryptocurrencies is to have them make money for me. I'm not going to be attached to Bitcoin or Ethereum or any specific type of altcoin. I want my net worth to increase. And if that's going to happen in 3 or 6 months and we get a crazy boom and things are starting to look like, hey, this is getting a bit too crazy, I'm totally going to be flexible to be able to say, okay, I'm selling a large portion or maybe all of my position. It's enough for me. I've had nice gains. I'm taking it out. I'm going to take a step back and wait for the market to show me what it wants to do. And if there's a pullback, it'll give a better entry point at some point. But also I'll be prepared for if this is going to take longer and we might not get the peak in 2021, but maybe only 2022 or 2023. Mentally, I also want to be prepared for that and be okay with just continuing to build my position and accumulate and continue on just making more fiat money from other sources. For me, it's online business, but whatever source that is, continue to make more fiat currency and take a portion of that and continue to build the crypto position and to accumulate and really build that core position, because I think it's just a matter of time, whether it takes 3 or 6 months or whether it takes another 3 years. I think at some point we're going to get an enormous boom in cryptocurrencies. And I think, it's just really worth building that position. For me personally, at least, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I don't know the future, but that is what I am betting on. And I think, there's a really good chance we're going to see some crazy price action in 2021. And, based on how things are going, we're still perfectly on track with that stock to flow model, with the halving cycles and all the news that's coming in now. And these institutions buying up hundreds of millions of dollars worth of Bitcoin at a time. I think it's just a matter of time before Bitcoin breaks 20K, continues to go way higher. And then I think it's just a matter of time before Ethereum and the altcoins also have a massive bull market. They will eventually catch up. In my opinion, I don't see a scenario where it's just Bitcoin that continues going to 100 to 300K and altcoins stay at the levels they're at. For me, that's just something I don't see happening. Obviously, time will tell whether I'm right or wrong. And, we'll be able to reflect on that in hindsight. But yeah, guys, that's basically how I see the markets. That's my plan going forward, my strategy for 2021. Be flexible, be patient, keep accumulating. But if things get too crazy, I'm ready to get out and cash out, especially if it's kind of life-changing profits. And you just want to keep an eye on the cycles and what's happening with the sentiment and everything. And of course, I'm going to be bringing you regular updates. So make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. Click the notification bell. You get alerted every time I do publish a new video, so I can continue to share my insights and my updates and charts. And let me know if you like this kind of style of video too, where it's kind of more of a, just vlogging kind of style instead of just being in front of the computer all the time. Just mix it up a little bit and have some tutorials and sometimes some TAs, sometimes some news and fundamental updates. And for the rest, guys, happy holidays. Take this time off and spend some time with your family. Get away from the computer. Don't stress too much about what's happening in the world. Focus on what you can control. There's a lot of stuff outside of our control right now, what's going on in the world and higher level policies and all this kind of stuff and what's happening on the news. Turn off the TV. Just enjoy life, right? It's really beautiful still out there. And what we can control is our attitude, and we can control the time, how we spend it, right? So it's super important that while we still have these opportunities, right? You never know how long you have. So take some time out. If you can, go and take a few days away, right? Go and spend time with friends and family. Go enjoy the meals. Turn off the social media. Turn off the TV. Crypto's still going to be here, next year. It's still going to be here in January. So absolutely don't stress about it. Enjoy life, okay? meditate a little bit, go to the gym, eat, relax, get some sunlight if you can, you know, if you're in a space where it's warm this part of the year, and otherwise get some snow. I mean, snow is also amazing too. I like the cold, you know, if you can, go snowboarding, go skiing, go do something fun. Just de-stress, relax, focus on what you want to achieve next year, right? Do some meditating. It's really, really powerful. Visualize what you want. And like I said, there's a lot of things that you can't control and that you have no control over, but focus on what you want. You know, I don't want to get too deep into you know, law of attraction type stuff and that kind of thing. But it's really, you tend to get what you focus on. And if you focus on negativity and problems, if you continuously repeat to yourself that you're poor, that you're unlucky, that you're broke, whatever the case is, that is what tends to show up in your life, right? You are literally like a magnet, and you attract what you think of consistently. So if you enjoy life and you see the positivity in life and you're happy and you're grateful for whatever happens every single day, and you're thankful for a roof over your head, and you're thankful for the food that you eat, and that, you know, you have your parents or your friends and your family, and, you know, you have love in your life and all that kind of stuff, it's super important that you just focus on that and appreciate it, and focus on things will work out for you. You will get the money that you need. You will be successful. You will make the right decisions, and you are grateful for what you have. You just really focus on that. Even if you spend 10 or 15 minutes a day just sitting in peace, in silence, and just visualizing what you want and being grateful for what you have, it really tends to magnify itself and continue to show up in your life. And I really encourage you to at least give it a try, right? Just cut out the negativity. And especially if you're around people who tend to be negative, you know, maybe just distance yourself from them a little bit. And, you know, you can make yourself crazy watching the news and focusing on all the negative stuff that's happening in the world, but that's not going to help you, right? So you can also choose to focus on the positive stuff and the happy stuff and the things that you do have in your life and why you're lucky to have them. And as you continue to shift your perspective and your attitude on that kind of stuff, you really tend to attract more of it into your life. Like, really, I can highly recommend that you just try that for a little bit and see how it works. And also just focus on, you know, how good of a year 2021 is going to be for you, and the abundance that you're going to receive, and the wealth and the successes and the experiences that you're going to have, and just really start zooming in on that. And funny enough, I don't know how it works, but the more you focus on that, the higher the chance is that you're going to get that into your life. So happy holidays. I hope you have an amazing time. I'm obviously still going to be making videos right until the end of the year, and then continue on going. So this isn't the last video for the year, but I thought this was a nice fitting bit of just a different style update, and share my thoughts with you. If you like it, smash the like button, leave a comment below. What do you think? What is your strategy for 2021? Any tips or advice that you want to share with everyone else who reads the comments. And like I said, if you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel below. It's completely free. Click that notification bell, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.